Guys, it's the Pepsi Max man. Welcome back to Supercoach DR. Hope you're having fun and stay tuned.
G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach with DR and welcome to the round 23 review. Hope you all had a cracker of a weekend. And I tell you what, I had a ripping weekend, one of the best weekends I can remember in a long time. It all started off Friday night with our Supercoach catch-up at the pub at the Crown Casino. Some absolute legends there. Here is a very, very quick clip to show you who was there on the night. All right, we're with the Go to Supercoach. Here's Ross from the third man up. TK here. TK, we got Big J from the centre back. Big, medium. Medium. No one's medium here. I'd say what, no one is medium. The ladies, man. Cause of Blackledge. Janet, the professor of the numbers man, my brother. Steve from SDS, you know this man here. And I'll tell you what, last but not least, this bloke's been for us for ID to come into Crown. And when we got to travel the four spills, what's cracking, buddy?
Oh, we've got Will Phillips, right? $150 for Crown, so yeah, should be a good night.
Hey, I'm what?
Looking forward to it.
50, what?
$50 to Crown, boys.
I should have been listening carefully.
Let's get into it.
You're joking me
Thanks
still.
to Janet.
Oh, here we go. We got Big Timmy here in L. JP has climbed Mount Everest, if you don't mind. Lek dog in the back there. Beautiful looking human. So, hey, there's still time. Come down to Crown, guys. Come down to the pub. All the Go to Supercoach.
Go the Lions.
All right, yeah. Go Lions.
Go the Lions.
So shout out to you legends, and I will be doing some more content with Steve from SDS in the off season, focusing on NBL Supercoach, which should be really, really exciting. So obviously after the catch up, I went to the Lions Pies game with Brent and Spills, and what a victory it was. You can never beat knocking over the Pies. Let's go, boys! Let's go, Charlie! Let's go, boys! Let's go, Lions! Woo! And then the morning after, the Brisbane Lions had a family day down at the home of Fitzroy, the Brunswick Street Oval, and I finally got to meet my favourite player in the comp, the Pepsi Max King, and I had a little gift that I've been waiting to give him. Oh, what a win, the morning after. So, heading up to Brunswick Street Oval, the players are putting on a bit of a clinic, and I've got a present for my favourite boy, the Pepsi Max King. Nice cold one waiting for you, buddy.
Oh, thanks, mate.
Hey, you're going to look up at Thursday today, mate, so...
Yeah, I'll have that later. I'll want mine. Where we walk off. Thanks, mate.
How do you know how you go about that, mate?
It's a big alpha male move when you keep the ball. Once your body
Good on you, mate. Appreciate it, mate.
Well, all the other players are going on the bus. There's one more bloke still on the field. It's a Pepsi Max King. What an absolute legend. That's it, son. Get your arms around him. Everyone else is gone, apart from that great man there. Have a look at that beautiful, beautiful human. You on your Pepsi Max King? Yes. So all in all, a cracking weekend, and a big shout out to all the Lions players. You were terrific, guys. Lovely blokes, and best of all, great with the kids. But back to Supercoach, I got a magnificent score this week, my second highest score of the year, a 26.57. I was actually projected to go 2800 at some stage, but that was including like a 140 projection from Gorn, a 130 plus from Petraka as well. So didn't end up getting that high, but 534 for a round rank. I'll take every day of the week. Really pleased with that. Season rank now, 2,200. So I didn't think I'd get this high. If only I had have got my starting team right, I could have done a bit of damage this season. But lessons learned, it is what it is. 9 out of 9 league wins, so I'll find myself in 9 grand finals, but keep in mind, a few of those are from the bottom 8. But I'm involved in a big cashy this week, hoping to take home $1,000 as a prize. So fingers crossed, I can get over the line. But that's pretty much it for the intro, guys. I'll take you through how the team's actually looking, show you what I'm going to do with my loops, look at some captain, vice-captain options. But apart from that, we've only got one round to go. It's a big round with our grand finals. So all the best of luck, guys. Let's see how the team is actually looking. Alrighty, let's get into it. As I said, we'll make this one quick. We'll start off in defence as always, and my D1, James Sicily, did not deliver this week, and we were pre-warned by Janeth on the Swordplay pod. He said that Melksham is a pretty tough matchup for opposition defenders, and he tends to limit their effectiveness. We saw that in the weekend, so come on, Sis, bounce back for my grand final, mate. Really, really need you. Tom Stewart, I was a little bit concerned as well, given the fact they were coming up against the Saints. Remember what Ross Lyon did to James Sicily last time, completely took him out of the game with that Cooper Sharman defensive role. And I thought this may happen again this week to Tommy Stewart, but no, he managed to get through, had a pretty free run, 128 points, fantastic from him. Jordan Dawson, after a bit of an up and down season, since I've brought him in anyway, he scored 118, back on the winners list. Well, winners list scoring-wise, but unfortunately, we know what happened to the Crom. I won't get into that because Brent will get very, very emotional, but well done, JD. Maybe in my captaincy loop this week against the Eagles. Will Day, what a game from this bloke. So he scored 114 points in the first three quarters, had some cramp in the last quarter. I think he came on for a couple of minutes, couldn't quite manage to get through to the end of the game. So unfortunate the fact that this could have been a 130-plus score very, very easily. But we can't complain with three quarters for 114 points. And what a hold he was. Remember there was that stage in the season where it was like Will Day, Sheasel and Jay-Z. Do we hold three? Do we trade all three? It was lots of different decisions that people made, but I think I certainly made the right decision there. Trading Jay-Z, keeping on to Will Day. And this man Sheasel, I'll jump straight to him on the bench. 136 points. What a magnificent 5 weeks this young man has had. He's on the bench. I did expect him to score well against Richmond, but given the fact that I had the opportunity to loop, I think it's always a good idea if you can. So well done, Shees, and that was a great hold, as I said. Seagull, this was pretty disappointing. He's one of the bigger pods in my side, only the 82 points, but I can't get too disappointed when other people are running donuts there, or even a Chesser or a Chincotta. So 82 points is low, but I can still live with that. I tell you what, I crunched the numbers. If I had traded in Sinclair over the Seagull, I'd be entrenched in the top 1K. So that's really disappointing. One decision can have such a big impact on your season, but it is what it is. And Tyrell there is obviously the loop. Onto the midfield now. I need to give a big shout out to all the blokes on Friday night at Crown. I did a quick survey. I was really keen to actually chuck the VC on Bolton, you know, that high risk, high reward type pick, and it was only a VC. And the reason why I was keen to do that is because I thought Bont is such a safe captain this week. But I surveyed the room and it was 4-2 Neil's way, so I decided to chuck the VC on Lockie Neal. And after watching Bolton play, man, was I disappointed. But thank you, boys, because if I had have gone with Bolton as a VC, I certainly would not have denied a 140 and I wouldn't have got this magnificent 162 from the Bont. Keep in mind, he was only on 51 points at quarter time, had a 75-point third quarter and a really strong last quarter to finish off the game as well. So what a superstar, what a champion. Fingers crossed you can take home Charlie this year, mate. Track has been a really solid trade-in since I brought him in, probably just over a couple of months ago now. 106 has been one of his lowest scores he's given me, but I'm not complaining with that. Terrific season from the Track. Butters 129, so he's had an extremely solid last month, and coming up against, who's he coming? Richmond this week, I think he could be a legitimate captaincy option. I may not reveal my captains this week, but I'll certainly talk about some of the options I've got towards the end of the video. Merritt, again, he's been a magnificent trading option for me. Bit of a slower last few weeks, but almost reached the ton in a game where his team lost by over 120 points. That's stomachable, I suppose. Lady with a 116, again, maybe in my captaincy loop this week, along with Jordan Dawson. Remember what he did last time he played West Coast? I think it was about a 150 plus. I was watching this with Brent at Crown. Magnificent game from him last time. The Schlong has been really, really disappointing for me. I think he's got me a couple of tons, but the rest of his scores been 80s and 90s. So hasn't been the best trade-in. Do we look to start him next year? possibly he'll be in the mix, but yeah, pretty disappointing as a trading option. Now, this is disappointing, Connor Rozee, his lowest score for the year, but in saying that, he's been safe as houses since round 1, so I'm not going to complain with the 75. He was due for a lower game at some stage, and hey, for 75 is his absolute floor. It goes to show how well he's played this year, hasn't it? Lockie Neal, 97. I thought he was underscored here. I thought he was very close to BOG. 30 plus possessions, contested, clearances. A typical Lockie Neal game. So disappointing he didn't quite reach the ton, but good to see him hit form again. Now, Jack Steele, you'll see him on the bench here. Now, you'll notice that in my forward line, Himmelberg has the emergency on him. So again, this is the advantage to using your loops. I needed to take that score. So I had to bench someone. I didn't want to bench Rozee. I didn't think that would work out well. Butters I want to keep on field. It was probably out of Sarong and Steele at the end of the day. But with Steele's recent form, it's been pretty disappointing. So I decided to bench him. And it didn't work out too badly. You know, I was never benching Rozee in his form. So it was probably going to be Sarong. I've lost about 8 points there. All sweet, though. And Windsy with an 84. Didn't even chuck the emergency on him. So this is a fair luxury, isn't it? Having blokes like Steele with a 102. Windsy with an 84 that I didn't even need on field. You got Donut City for other teams, so I think I'm in a pretty good position there. The Rucks now. So Maxi Gawn, this was actually pretty disappointing. He was a solo ruck. Grundy was out of the team, and I thought, look, surely now we've got to see another 120 plus type score, but nah, wasn't the case. That's all good though. He is a pod, so if he goes big, I tend to go big, but with my round score this week, again, I'm not complaining. And Big Kizza, thank you very much for delivering this week. Now, I was really worried in my rucks because we had Timmy English coming up against Bailey Williams and Big Romo coming up against Shannon Neal. So I just want to close my eyes in the ruck line this week. But the fact that this great man almost managed to match what Rowan Marshall did, hats off to you, mate. What a phenomenal player he is. One of the best rucks in the competition. Major surprise packet this year. Well done, Kizza. Hats off to you, my man. Madden, he's been a captain probably for half the rounds this year. Well done, Nick, without doing anything. Errol with the 109. Again, fantastic season from him. I didn't actually start him. I just had a bit of a bad feeling that he wouldn't be able to deliver on what he did during the preseason. But after the first week, I thought, I've got to bring him in. Bought him in round 2. That's been a magnificent decision. Dogger Jackson. So he's been a great trade in, 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm slightly disappointed with this because he was actually on 91 points at half-time. So I was thinking, hey, you double that, it's 182. Even if you don't double that, it's not really realistic. Even a 50, 60-point second half gets him to around 150. But 123 at the end of the day is fine. I can absolutely stomach that. But wish he had have had a bigger second half and really gone on with it. Cogs with the 126, a bounce-back game from him. He's been very, very up and down. I don't think I'll select him in my side again. Given the fact he's going to be a pure midfielder anyway, just don't think it's going to be worth it. This man here delivered in a big, big way. 4-goal game. Contested disposals. He just did everything, this fella. And given the fact that he's only in under 2% of sides in the top 1%, again, a very big reason for me shooting up the ranks this week. You know why I selected him? Low floor, high ceiling type player. We saw what he did last week. He gave me a 50-odd. This week, it's a 140-odd, exactly as I called it when I traded the man in. So I've got a couple of nice ceiling games, couple of lower games, but where I was really lucky with that lower game is that I actually looped him, didn't have him on field. So that's actually been a really good trade-in for me. Taranto, super disappointing second half of the season after killing it in the first half. Kane Collins, don't get too confident, mate, because he's certainly in the top 150 players in the comp, but the second half of the season has been disappointing for Timmy. Hopefully he bounces back next year for the Tigers supporters. Roberts was my loop, and Himmelberg finally delivered with his best game of the season, and it was, jeez, what can we say about Essendon? It was an absolute train wreck for Essendon and an absolute training drill for the Giants. So well done, Harry. Great to see a good score from you. Marek I haven't really needed. He scored a 59, which is all good. So let's zoom out a little bit and we'll look at how the team's actually going to look this week. Because remember, I do have loops that I can use. So do you know what? With the Schlong coming up against Hawthorn this week, I've got a feeling Finn's going to go to him. So I think I'm going to try to loop Sarong. That's probably the best plan for me. So just for now, I'll get Steele up here. Roberts can go for, let's just say, a Rosie. Sheasel, I'll still have there. Can I? No, I can't really loop the Seagull, which is unfortunate. Himmelberg's there. I'll have to work this out. I don't want to spend 5 minutes trying to do this for you because it doesn't really affect anyone else but me. So I'll work out what I'm going to do there. But the player I would really like to loop, if possible, is the Schlong coming up against Finn McGuinness. I'm seeing a 60-odd score from this bloke this week, which is not what you want in a Supercoach Grand Final. But let's have a look at some of our VC and captain options this week. I'm not going to actually reveal what I'm going to do because I'm in a Cashy Grand Final and a couple of other really competitive leagues, but I'll go through the options I've got anyway. So we could go Zerrett here against Collingwood. He's had a bit of a down last couple of weeks, hasn't he? But against the Pies, they don't tend to tag. Essendon will really want to make up for what they did last week for their fans anyway. Haven't got much to play for. There is a mathematical chance that they can get into the finals, but I think they need to win by 100. A couple of other teams need to lose by 100, so they're not getting in finals. But Zerrett is the captain of the club. He's a proud man, and he'll want to end the season on a strong note. So there's an option there. I'm not going Sicily, I don't think. I'll need to look into what Freo do in regards to limiting opposition defenders. Brayshaw and Schlong, I just think are too risky with McGuinness in the team. And we know what Ned Reeves did to Gawn last week, so Dogger's probably not going to be in my loops either. You've got Sheasel here that you could have against Gold Coast. Possibility in recent form. He's been playing super well. Lions, look, Dunkley and Neil haven't hit the ton for a few weeks, but they're playing at the Gabba. Bounce back game. It's a possibility, but I don't love the options there. Rowan Marshall against either Fort or Big O. I think Big O may have had a slight injury on the weekend. He wasn't there on the family day, so don't know what's going on there. But yeah, not huge on that one. You got Tommy Stewart, who could be a decent option against the Dogs, but at the same time, you've got Tim English coming up against Neil, and Bont is Bont, and I think he's a decent option each and every week. So I'll really look carefully there. This one's a big one. So you've got obviously Dawson and Laird coming up against the Eagles. I had Dawson as captain last time who underdelivered, but Lairdy I'm pretty sure went a 150 plus. So certainly a couple of options there to have a look at. This is the option that I really like this week. Zach Butters in his recent form against the Tigers. Now the Tigers midfield isn't travelling too well at the moment, and Butters is in magnificent recent form. So very, very tempting to chuck the C on Butters. You could go a Rosie type as well. Low game last week, but don't let that scare you off. I think he'll perform really, really well. Now, this one's another tempting one for me. You obviously got Track there. Possibly you may have a Ryan Clark type tag, but I think they'll go to Clary. This may actually benefit Track, I think. But the big one for me is Max Gawn against Tom Hickey. Now, he only got the 91 points last week as a solo ruck. 80-odd points the week before with Brodie Grundy in the side. But Melbourne will want to win this, and I expect Gawn to have a really big match. So he's certainly a possibility for me. I don't have any Carlton players, but not sure if you'd go anyone there or trust anyone there. Do you go Big Kizza possibly? Maybe a Tom Green. He's been in good form, but obviously don't have him. Trade him out. Regret doing that in a way because he's been in really good form, but I had to really do it at the time. Had trades up the sleeve. Not too disappointed with that. So, look, just for now, I might even go a real pod move and chuck Madden on. He's going to be a great captain loop because he's got the last game, so we can literally do any combination this week, which is super, super handy. And I might even go something like, I'll go Bont into Butters for now. That's probably my preferred captaincy loop. But there are certainly a few options. I'm going to keep my cards pretty close to my chest this week. So that is it for now, guys. Stay tuned. Well, it'll be tonight. I'm usually used to saying tomorrow night or on Tuesday night, but stay tuned tonight for the Supercoach Swordplay Potty. We're getting a special guest on. It's Ross, Janeth's man from the Third Man Up, the other half of that. So really excited to have a chat with Ross tonight. I have already put a tweet up for the mailbag. I think I've already got around 10 questions there. So feel free to pop a question down there in the tweet. And if not, have a great season, guys. I know the casuals of the game have really tuned out, but for the really rusted on super coaches like myself, like the other content creators, we've got one big week ahead of us. Grand finals, cash leagues, rivalry leagues, those leagues with your mates that you really want to win. So if you are in a grand final, all the best of luck. We'll hopefully be able to give you some tips on the potty. And for now, that's it from me. So take care, guys. All the best. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.